So this is episode 48 of my weekly diary. Now this one's all Oxford training, stuff like that, but has my birthday on Saturday, so that is a bit exciting. And also on Sunday, I do my first league training session. So stay tuned. So I'm going to do a quick video as somehow I have lost Monday and Tuesday, which is obviously really annoying. So Monday was really high conditioning, but it wasn't the worst thing because we were partnered up. So it'd be I go, you go. So the first one was 20-40. So you run to 20 metre, you run back, you run to 40, which in this case was the halfway line because I think the lines on the pitch were a bit iffy. So we did that, we ran back, and then the next person would go. Now we did this 6 times, I think, and then we went straight into games. So we were wearing bibs. So I was green bibs, there was blue bibs, and then there was like no bibs at all. So while you were doing the game, obviously you were playing, it was Quinn's touch, which meant 1 touch, carry on, 2 touch, go to floor, and then you had to get the ball out within 3 seconds. And if you weren't playing it, you had to do running on the side. So it'd be all your team lined up in 2s, then you'd run to a line, and then you'd run back, and then the next person would go. So that part wasn't really the hardest, but it just wasn't that fun. But overall, I think it nearly killed me at the end because it was the constant conditioning games, and that's what we kind of finished on, 2 games. So it just felt like a lot, and obviously my ribs or my sternum, whatever it was, just absolutely killed by the end of it. So that was fun. Next was Tuesday, and now it's hard to say much for it as I went in for about 2 hours and then kind of went back home, as it was coursework and making sure I've done the work, and that was pretty much it. So I did end up going to the library for it instead because it was a bit boring and there was more stuff to do there, but that was my day. So a quick one for Wednesday and Thursday. For some reason I forgot dates. Starting with Wednesday because it absolutely sucked. Temperature was about 22 to 23 degrees, so it was hot. And we had another circuits day. Now obviously I didn't do last week's one because of my sternum, but I thought it'd be fun to do this one. However, it was long and it was hard, and we had to do it about 3 times, like before, which just absolutely sucks. So I think the worst one on there was 30 metre Malcolms. And you may think, oh, that's not too bad. It is after you've done a bunch more exercises beforehand that have absolutely killed your full body. So it was bear crawls for 1 minute. Then you had box jumps, prisoner squats, burpees over a bar. So you jump, you do a burpee, you jump over a bar, you do a burpee, you jump back, and then the other person goes. We had lunges, which obviously quite nice, not too bad. Burpees into wide jumps, I think they're called. So down, up, long jump, which is always fun. The goal was to get to a line. And yeah, that was... Oh, we obviously had some wrestling ones, just like the one I did beforehand. And there was one, I actually really liked this one. So I think the last one, oh wait, I've just fought 3 more. So one of them is you're both in a bear crawl position and you have to take out the other person's hand from underneath them. I absolutely love that one, I can't lie. That was definitely one of my favourites. Then you had push-ups, how many you can do during that time, which was a killer. And then you also had some sort of hold. It was like the Russian twist, but instead of obviously twisting, you're just holding that position. So we had to do that. So
yeah, really long day. And that was just the afternoon. So we had gym in the morning. However, I ended up missing some of it because I had a scat test. Turns out, anything remembering with word base, I'm actually alright at. Anything remembering with numbers, I'm awful at. So, yeah. So what happened there was they said like 6 numbers and you had to repeat them backwards. So it'd be like 5, 6, 9, 12, 10, 1. And then you'd have to say it backwards. And that just fried my brain completely. But yeah, scat tests have never been my favourite. It was uppers in the gym, I'm pretty sure, which isn't too bad, but never my favourite. And then in the morning it was skills, which was going through moves we know, but like we learned recently. So like the ones we've like sometimes forgotten how to do, which was me, because for some reason my group went first and I had completely forgotten what I was doing. So I just went along with it. Ended up, it was fine, but definitely forgot what I was doing for some reason, which is lovely. And then it got like a whole confused thing because someone couldn't run and they were trying to walk and do it. And yeah, it was just very long to do. Anyway, today, obviously, I have finished. I was there for about 2 hours. And what I did was basically go through what grades I've been getting, what I need to improve on next, blah, blah, blah. Up to date with everything. I think all but 2 of my courseworks I've got distinctions in, but one of them I'm still working on now. And another one I got a merit on, but I can't actually get any better because they sent it in outwards to mark. So it stays as a merit, which is fun. But obviously not too bad. And yeah, that's literally what I did for about 2 hours, getting on with some work. And then coming back from my dorm and eating. Very fun.
So a quick talk over for Friday. What happened was it was quite a short session in the end. We had skills in the morning, which was just passing back and forth with a tennis ball and then with rugby balls and then kind of shape position, but still just like learning the passes with those, making it harder with the tennis balls, trying to catch with one hand and stuff like that. Then it moved on to gym, which was hypertrophy full body, which meant it was harder than usual, but honestly it wasn't the worst thing ever, so I didn't mind it too much. And then finally it was the actual training session, which was all games. So the entire session was a weird type of game, to be honest. So both balls started in the middle, there was 2, and then one team would pick one, the other team would pick another. And so he'd say which team are starting, they would run to the ball, pick it, whatever their one is up, and pass it off. And then let's say they dropped it, they'd leave it wherever they dropped it, and then the other team would run to their ball that was still in the middle and play the other way. But then if they dropped it immediately, we'd have to run to wherever we left our ball last. So that and if you ended up scoring, you'd pick up the ball and you put it back into the middle. And it just kind of went back and forth like that. So it was a lot of running, but it was quite a fun game in the end. Then we had a little weird one where you had a tennis ball and you threw it at, it was like a crazy mat or something along those lines. And it pinged back and the next person in line would have to catch it. Then they'd throw it, next person. And I think we got 8 in a row and that was about it. We were not good at that game. And then we had a tiny amount of conditioning. So it was 40 back 6 times and then we were done for the day.